Hi everybody, welcome to the Graphics Fairy. Welcome to Tag Team Friday. My name's Kate from Pixie K Designs, and today I am making a Birdwatchers tag using the bundle from the premium website Central Park Birdwatchers. Some gorgeous bird and feather and sort of bird watching themed images on here, and also some really great printables which I'm using. There's quite a lot in this tag, but I think we can get through it pretty easily. It's not complicated, and I can just edit out the bits that you don't really need to see. This is my prototype. It's not a sort of finished tag. It's just my prototype to go off while I'm making the tag, and all the prints on here are just on copy paper, just printed basically. Anyway, my tag it's quite a large tag, and it has a flap out this way, and it has a little white paper bag flap that goes out that way, and then there's some writing space on the back. So that's my tag, and we'll just get straight into it. I'll show you the printables and the images I've used as we go. My tag bases are just basically made out of coffee dyed cardstock. It's not overly heavy, and I could have printed the images straight onto here and cut them out, but I wanted to cut my images out and stick them on to the cardstock because it's lightweight and that will make them more robust, I think. So my main tag is 19 centimeters by 11 centimeters, and this flap here is 15.5 by just under 11. And what I'm going to do now is stick this onto the top flap. This is one of the images, and I've printed it. It's cut in half already, but it's printed to a page, and I've just basically placed this on top and trimmed it to size and glued it on. So here it is, glued onto the cardstock. I'd done this earlier and my camera had turned off, so that's why it's done like that. And then I cut out one of the printables from the stickers, the sticker printables, which are here and are gorgeous, and I've printed these onto a textured cardstock, and I'm going to cut this one out. You can go on the black line and leave quite a big white space around here, or you can go closer to the image, depending on your preference. So there's our lovely bird cut out. I love the blues in this printable, and that is simply going on there. I am going to do a little bit of inking around the edge. So the bird is going to sit here, and then we need to put something here to attach it to our tag. I'm going to make the tag shape now, just lining this one up. So this is going to sit here. Right, and I'm just going to use some brown paper as my hinge. And I kind of want a torn edge, so I'm going to just tear a little bit of the brown paper down here. And I'm going to just put a little bit of glue. I'm just going to glue this down properly, this side bit. You could use anything to make your hinge. You could use washi tape or ribbon, fabric, a little bit of fabric. I don't want it to come too far over. Now I'm going to kind of see what my bird looks like. Okay, and then I'm fold this around, so I'm going to just use my ruler, tear down a little bit, get rid of that big bit there, and put some glue on here. I'm going to fold this under, but I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap. Show you what I mean. So that when it's open, there's a gap there, so there's room. It's not particularly straight. The art glitter glue doesn't give you much time to move things around. Okay, so that's that, and then I'm going to glue this bird onto the front of my tag, or the tag flap. And again, I'm using my art glitter glue. I'm just popping the bird on there. That lovely blue colour really looks great against the neutrals. And on this side, I'm going to use this image here, and this image is from the Sage Meadows. And again, I'm going to do the same thing and kind of measure it up how I would like it with this sort of central. I'm just going to tear it again. I'll try and tear it straight. Take the top bit off. Didn't really tear very straight, but that's okay. And then we need to see how far over this needs to fold. So that goes about there, and that's going to be glued on. And again, I'm going to save this piece for maybe some collaging later. I'm just going to sort of pinch this up a bit and just rough it up a bit for this inside part. And then I'm going to glue that down. And again, I can use my glue stick for this. And place that over. There we go. And just sort of age it and scrunch it up a bit. Alright, so that looks nice, and then on top of that we have our photo. When I printed it, it didn't leave a frame all around, and I'm just wondering if I might cut the rest of this frame off, and so it doesn't have the white. And I'm probably going to just use this that I've got in my scrap box. It's a nice old music. I'm just gonna, and I actually do want my picture to look a bit old and not so pristine as well, so I'm just going to give that a little bit of a Okay, and so that's just going to sit on top of here. I'm just wondering if I want on here I've used some old, well they're not old, they're just from Kmart photo corners. So I need to decide whether I'm going to do that. I'm just going to tear this paper. And so just fold it. Fold it and tear it. And this way as well. And again, I'm just going to crumple this up a little bit behind the photo, and it just gives more texture and another sort of colour, so the different neutrals. So I think I'm just going to sit to that little photo there. This one's smaller than the other one. I quite like it though, so I'm going to use my art glitter glue to glue this down onto the music manuscript paper. Oh, I'm not quite sure what they call this paper. And then I'm going to glue that down onto the inside of the top flap. And then I used some tatting. You could use lace or ribbon or nothing at all, depending on if you wanted to. I've got a little scrap here, so I might just use that one on this. I do want it to kind of hang down a little bit under here. I think I like the bigger piece, so I'm just going to find a bigger piece. But this actually, to be honest, this is not actually going to hang. Well, I could put it lower like that actually, couldn't I? Yeah. And for this I use my Aleene's tacky glue, and I just dot a little bit of the glue on each of these loops. And then along the edge here. Hope you can see what I'm doing. Try not to put too much on so it doesn't squidge everywhere. So that's Aleene's tacky glue. Just glue it down. Go. Got a little bit sticking out there, but that's okay. We'll see here. So we don't have much poking out the bottom like we do on the other one, but that's okay. They never turn out exactly the same when you make something the second time. Right, so now we need to cover this, the main body of the tag. And for that I chose this image. And again, I just made this fit by kind of laying the tag over. But I know this is 11 centimeters and I kind of want to center the type here. So I'm just for this going to get a pencil and just mark here and here, and I'm going to cut this. It's a little bit small. Just as well, I've got another one if I feel like I need to cut it again. So when this is closed, you're going to see that top feather sort of poking out. So fold that over that way. That's the top. And this is printed onto a lovely textured paper, which I like, that I just bought at a basic stationery store. And I'm just going to glue this on with some glue stick. And cut here and here. I love the feather image, I think it's really pretty. On the back I'm going to put the grid, this piece of grid paper on the back. So I'm just going to cut that down now. And so glue stick on the back, and I like this sort of old foxed looking part of this paper, so I'm going to put that on the bottom and then just line it up and glue it down, and then take my scissors and cut it in the shape of the tag. Right, so there we have our first top part that lifts open. We've got the photo of the bird watchers group and some of the lovely, I love this font from the Sage Meadows, and this feather picture, and the back's done. So now we've just got our little paper bag to do. You could use anything. You don't have to use a paper bag. You could actually just make another flap out of some cardstock, or use an envelope. I seem to have a little pile of these little white envelopes. I think they're kind of gone a little bit creamy and they're sort of old, so I like that. And we attach that also with the brown paper here. So I'm going to do that first. I'm going to just tear a piece of paper and glue it to my paper bag. And again, this can be as neat or as sort of shabby and rustic as you please, depending on what you like. I don't want too much. Oh, that didn't go very well. Okay, and then that is going to wrap around here. It's going to make a little hinge. Okay, so I'm actually going to glue that on there. And again, you could glue it underneath the printable if you didn't want to see it. So yeah, depending on what order you do everything in is what part of that hingy piece of paper that you'll see or not see. But I'm okay with seeing that. And then just a little bit of sort of collage on the paper bag. And I used a little bit of the map. So I'm just going to tear some of this down. Right, so I'm just going to try and see how I go with my collaging this time. I've still got a piece of this. So that's a scrap, and so we've got some lovely a little bit of font there, and then my book pages with the texture paste on them. Quite like to use some of that. And then another thing that I printed out were these little stamps, faux postage stamps. So I'm just going to choose one of these and cut it out and pop it on. And I quite like this image of the people at the park on the pond. So there's our little collage on the paper bag. Okay, so I'm going to use my art glitter glue, and I'm going to work from the top. So this gives us a little bit of colour with our neutrals. I quite like that. And then we've got our paper bag. And in the paper bag I was going to make a journaling card out of this book cover, which I've printed 4 to a page. So here it is cut out. I would like to back it with something. So I'm just going to check it fits in the bag, which it does. But I would like to back it with something to make it a bit stronger. And I'm thinking I might use this. So I love this yellow. And yeah, that's got lines, and I like that sort of rough edge at the top, so I'll probably leave that like that. So it's not a super stiff heavy journaling card, but it's still kind of cute. I like this little bit sticking out, so I'm going to pop that into my bag. I'm not going to do anything more except for put a hole at the top of my tag. Make a hole with my crocodile. And then put an eyelet in there and set the eyelet. And I'm just going to put twine on here, just some thick sort of, I don't know what they call this, string, twine. And pop that through. Again, you could put ribbon or anything you like through there. And so there we go. We've got our tag with 2 flaps and a little paper bag that you can pop things in, and somewhere to write on the back. So that completes the Birdwatchers tag. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and we'll go and explore the Graphics Fairy site for all the beautiful images you can access there, and I will see you again soon. Bye.